taking a look at the markets in the week ahead, Brad, what kind of short-term signals lay ahead? And I understand you mentioned to me earlier that there is another sign of a death cross looming. What does that mean?
Well, the death cross is, one of those technical chart patterns that people love to talk about because it just has that gruesome name. But this is when nothing more than when the 50-day moving price average crosses below the 200-day moving average. What it means is essentially that the prices recently have been falling relative to kind of a longer term uptrend, and people look to see maybe if that's a sign that the whole pattern, the whole paradigm is changing. The reality is the predictive ability of this particular indicator is limited. The results are mixed. But the last time this happened was in June of last year, and Bitcoin traded sideways for about a month. And then it took off towards the all-time high of, around 69,000. So, maybe that'll happen again. Maybe it won't. Maybe it'll turn out to be something else.
Magic 8 ball.
Where's my crystal ball? All right. Well, in other exciting news to look forward to, the city of Rio de Janeiro in Brazil will invest 1% of their treasury into Bitcoin. So this is from Mayor Eduardo Paes saying that the city is also looking into allowing taxes to be paid in Bitcoin and offering its citizens a 10% discount incentive. Mayor Paes also cited Miami Mayor Francis Suarez as inspiration for this action, who in February also told CoinDesk that Miami could become the first city to place a portion of its treasury in Bitcoin. Christy, reaction to this?
I'm really curious to see what kind of adoption this actually has. It reminds me of a couple of years ago, two towns near where I live. In fact, I grew up in one of them, in Richmond Hill, Ontario, and another was Innisfil, Ontario. They actually collaborated. Yeah, Richmond Hill.
My hometown as well.
Your hometown too. They collaborated with, I believe it was Coinberry, to allow citizens to pay their property taxes in Bitcoin, which took a lot of people by surprise because they're like, huh? Is there a big demand for that up here? But apparently that was these were two of the first cities in Canada to adopt Bitcoin as a method of payment for property taxes. I'm curious as to whether or not anybody's actually taken them up on it. I know a few people have, but I can't imagine it's a whole lot. However, because they went through Coinberry actually automatically converted it to Canadian dollars right away. So the town was never dealing with Bitcoin, wasn't keeping Bitcoin on their balance book, none of that. So this is, I think, a slightly different situation where it seems like a way for the city to actually acquire some Bitcoin, but that wasn't totally made clear in the article that I saw. Brad, what did you think of it? Or sorry,
I like the way you pivoted from the Brazil question to turn it into a Canada story.
Hey, that's what I
do. But that is the way I read it too. Christy, is that, if they get paid taxes in Bitcoin, they'll just keep the Bitcoin. I don't have the details.
What I got out from it was it just seems to be following, the stride of El Salvador as well, which is buying up Bitcoin, putting it in their reserves. And experts have long discussed, this could be a developing trend among many developing countries, that they may be looking for solutions, moving away from dollarization and toward Bitcoin as a hedge against inflation, as for various reasons. So to me, it just seems to be validating a lot of those experts that have been talking about this happening. So very interesting development.